The meaning of life, is it pleasure? I think so, if we look from the biological standpoint of what is the meaning of a biological entity. A biological entity's only purpose is to reproduce, procreate, and ensure the continuation of the gene pool. Now, why is that? How come something that is so embedded deep within us determine our destiny? If we look from the point of the gene, the DNA, the genome, it's only one singular purpose, which has been given either by God or some other higher entity, higher power. And frankly, it makes no sense. It's simple to look at life like this, right? It makes our lives easier to handle in some way. But to be honest, doesn't that make life kinda boring then? If it's all about pleasure, really. Because our genes want to reproduce. Why? Who knows? But that isn't the question to ask. The genes have rewarded reproduction in a biological entity, such as a human, with dopamine. Through dopamine, we're focused heavily on sex. Through oxytocin, we're heavily focused on pair bonding. And through other hormones, we are heavily focused on achieving certain goals like food, provisioning, and the gathering of resources. But what if there was another step to life that wasn't determined by our genes? Our genes are hard-coded for pleasure, because that is essentially a sort of security for the gene. So can we go beyond our genetic programming? We can. We have seen that. We've seen that with monks, religious scholars, priests, people who meditate upon hours and hours without rest, achieving enlightenment. Enlightenment is sort of a next step beyond our genetic programming. But our genetic programming somehow makes us into the human beings we are today. It makes us unique. I can achieve certain things because of my genetic programming. Other people can achieve certain things through their genetic programming. So trying to go beyond our genetic programming is not futile. If that is your goal, then go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But think of this. If you go beyond your genetic programming, what is there left? What is there left to do? Yes, you want enlightenment. But really, do you want enlightenment? Do you want enlightenment? Your ego doesn't want enlightenment, right? But somehow you're still striving towards enlightenment. That is the ego wanting more. The ego is who wants the enlightenment. Because if you think about it, why do certain people disregard everything, disregard the whole game of life, become celibate monks, and go to Tibet and live with monks for the rest of their lives? It's because of their genetic programming. So trying to achieve enlightenment to be rid of the ego is in and of itself a ego-driven desire. Then how do we separate the ego from the striving of enlightenment? I will say this. My teacher, Kelsang Gyatso Rinpoche, who I believe is a very good spiritual teacher, has shown me the way, a way for me to live my life. And this isn't some sort of religious zealousy, so to speak. I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to say that you should follow my religion. That is not my wish. If you want to be a Muslim, then go ahead. That is a path to enlightenment. All religions lead to a path of enlightenment. But what my teacher has written in his books and during his lectures is, if we can go beyond our ego, then we can achieve enlightenment. But we cannot go beyond our ego if our wish for enlightenment is based on a egotistical desire. So we need to have an approach of non-ego. How that is achieved is through compassion. The easiest way to enlightenment is through compassion, is to help others despite you not gaining anything of it. It's despite you not gaining any sort of favor from it. You cannot achieve enlightenment just through hard work and getting money. That is the material. We want to go beyond the material. So when we strive towards enlightenment through compassion, we get ahead. We can thus know that because of our compassion, we have removed our ego, because our ego only wants what is best for ourselves. But if I help somebody, not really in my best interest to help them, it doesn't harm me in any way. It's what I will call neutral karma. Neutral karma is simply an action that is neither good nor bad for you, but it's just out of love and compassion. That is when we achieve enlightenment. So then you can trick yourself. I'm giving money to a poor person because I want to achieve enlightenment, but still, that's an egotistical desire. So we need to strive towards spontaneous compassion. Spontaneous compassion derives from you not thinking. That is essentially what those koans, those Zen Buddhist texts speak about. It's these koans. Can you clap with one hand? Can you think of two thoughts at the same time? That is a koan. Because you cannot dissect this philosophy or this text or this conundrum through logical means, but you can only dissect it through non-thinking. And non-thinking is spontaneous compassion. Spontaneous compassion equals non-thinking. But we can strive towards then to achieve spontaneous compassion. But then you say, okay, spontaneous compassion, but if it's spontaneous, then I have no control of it. What you can do is meditate, live a life rich of spiritual practices. Then spontaneous compassion will come with or without you. That is all I had to say, really. Hope you liked this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification as well. And as always, stay great.